Today, Brian and I are here with Jason Schultz. He is the CEO of Creative Age Collective, and he's a video marketing professional who's here to talk to us today about video because we love video. So thank you so much for joining us today, Jason. Can you just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your road to becoming a video marketing pro?
Sure. So yeah, as you said, CEO of Collective Age Creative. I'm a video marketing professional. I've been involved in traditional film and video work for about 20 years on a variety of projects, from like music videos to TV commercials to feature-length documentaries and stuff. And the road to getting involved in being a video marketing professional is I just have a passion for telling stories with images. And I think that video is probably, and has been for quite a long time, the most powerful form of communication that we have available to us other than face-to-face interaction. So yeah, I've always been a fan of it. I've always been a fan of cinema, traditional cinema. I went to school after a year as a mechanical engineer. I transferred into film because that's what I always wanted to do. So I studied screenwriting and the classics of filmmaking, and then learned everything else really about taking the theory of that and applying it to real world scenarios and real world business after graduation. And that's about it. And back in 2001, after college graduation, I got my first internship. I was actually at the recording studio that Eminem and D12 and all these guys made their records. I was like one of 13 people in this studio, and it was a very cool learning experience. And from there, I went and broke off and started doing some independent things in the Detroit music scene, live concert DVDs and some low budget music videos. And said, I'm not going to make any money with broke musicians, so I need to figure out how to pivot. There's that word, pivot. So yeah, so I make mostly videos, B2B videos on the web, but I'm kind of transitioning to coaching people now on creating their own video content for different social media platforms. So there's a whole menu of offerings that we've kind of evolved into, but I'm not going to get into all that right now. I feel like my answer's already been long-winded enough.
That's okay. Always long-winded. So.
Yeah, but Jason, you said you studied film. So what is, I'm veering from my own questions. I feel like Brian now, but what is one of your favorite, what do you feel is one of your favorite films then that was created? So,
this might seem cliche, but I don't care. Forrest Gump. So
yeah, that's a great.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
It came out, I think 95 or 96, I believe. And I graduated high school in 1996. So if you want to place this film in a formative time in my life and why this might have had a major impact, I was already an emotional teenager. You know, I'm getting ready to go away to college. My girlfriend that I've been dating for 2 years is going to Eastern Michigan. You know, it's just, there was a lot of emotions there. Couple that with an amazing movie that, like, you have war, you have a love story, you have sports. I mean, you have everything in that movie. And then you have the soundtrack, which blew my mind. So yeah, that movie is, and Tom Hanks is, I mean, another cliche, fine, I don't care. He's my favorite actor by far. I don't think anybody can touch that guy.
Yeah, I mean, that also too is like a great adaptation from the book. Like, because I read that book, you know, before I saw the movie, and that was a great book also.
Really?
Yeah, it was a great book. I thought it was good. I mean, besides the difference in the characters, right? Like, you know, he was, if I recall in the book, he was like a big, heavyset guy, right? And then you got Tom Hanks.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't really add up.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty close. You know, there's some different parts, but it was a great movie. I love that movie.
I might have to check out the book now. I totally forgot it was an adaptation. I'm serious. So
I didn't know that. Actually, I had no idea there was a book.
Oh yeah, there's actually a part
two. The movie, please, and I'll take it.
I think the guy wrote a second book on. I think. Don't quote me on this. I think he wrote a second book, but I don't think I ever read it. So.
Well, I'm definitely going to check it out because it's been a long time since I've dipped into the fiction world. Right. Everything is like business and self-help and self-mastery and all that. You know, you're always trying to improve. But a good fiction novel is something that I think everybody needs every now and again, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It's an escape, especially now. We need to dip out of the reality for a little bit.
Well, so now that I've veered off of my own agenda, which I never do, I wanted to talk a little bit about video trends. And you're always talking about disruptive video, right? So what are some of the biggest trends you're seeing now in the video world?
One of the biggest things that I'm super excited about is and I'll plug this, I don't care. We just added this to our arsenal. It's interactive videos. So I don't know, are you guys familiar with interactive videos at all?
We don't work with them, but yes, I'm familiar with the concept.
You're familiar with them. So for people who don't know what they are, I'm going to describe it. So let's say you go to a website and there's a video front and center. Let's say you go to a lawyer's website. Boring example, but whatever. And the lawyer does bankruptcy and he does civil law. You gotta have a video where the lawyer walks up and says, hey, well, I'm Bob Hope, lawyer XYZ, and I work in civil and I work in bankruptcy law. So before we continue, can you please just do me a favor and choose on this right here on the screen, tell me which one you are, and then civil and bankruptcy law will pop up, and then you can click on whatever it is, and then there's a video that auto plays that's triggered to that specific demographic. So like if you were to apply this to, let's say you're a physical trainer, do you want to lose weight or do you want to gain muscle? Pick here. And what you're able to do is you're able to qualify your leads and you're able to speak to them directly. And then it should be a quick funnel though, a quick, like after you give them the message that's catered to them, immediately a form in the video comes up where they can put their contact information or they can book a call with you, like right there. It's like you have them hooked and now boom, you're scheduling. So to me, that's anything that can shorten the time and the distance between when the message is delivered to the person, when you can speak with them, is a powerful marketing tool. And so interactive videos is kind of a game changer. There's a lot of stats being thrown around. This happens anytime something new in marketing comes out. Like people are like, you'll get an 800% increase on an ROI. And like, if this is something you guys can do, which is sometimes fun, it'll be referenced and then you'll click it. And then that's a reference. And it always seems to go back to some article that was written by some company that had the same service but didn't reference it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's no basis in fact with some of these stats.
Yeah.
That being said, heard numbers like a 380% increase in engagement and like 820% increase in conversion to actually getting the person in communication with you. Because when you click on a video, you feel like you're invested in it. Like I've chosen a path in this story. It's almost like a choose your own adventure. I want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to listen. Yeah. I mean, you've participated in it. So
yeah.
So that's why that trend is huge. And if you think about the different ways this can be applied, not just, front and center on your website, but even if, let's say somebody wants to promote a movie. Or like, remember how Black Mirror, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Black Mirror, the show on Netflix.
I never watched it, but.
If you ever want to have your mind completely slapped in the face, I'm serious, watch Black Mirror. It's a sci-fi thing. You're not going to go away from the episodes feeling good about yourself at all. But like there was a Black Mirror episode about a phone app that had a rating system based on your behavior because you were always monitored. And if you didn't get a high enough rating system, your privileges were turned off in society and people could see what your rating system was and they were shunned if they dealt with you. That's almost a mirror image of what China, and I'm not getting into politics, this is reality. China has that exact type of a social rating system. It's a social media rating system and they'll turn off that came out before China. So just a mind-boggling show. Anyway,
didn't they do that with credit ratings also? Like if your friends had like bad credit ratings, like your credit score would go down in China because like it was like crazy. It was based on who you were connected with.
Yes, absolutely. If you did any type of behavior that they deem wasn't beneficial to the state or whatever the term is for the government there, if you're interacting with people, if you're on social media saying comments that aren't, it's full 100% monitored. And there's AI stuff involved. Technology is insane. The last season of Black Mirror was interactive on Netflix. I didn't watch the whole thing. I talked to friends about it. And it was almost like a choose your own adventure thing. So like you'd be watching the movie and you could pick what the character does.
Right.
In the series.
What's great? That's sort of nothing new, right? What was it? Dragon's Quest? What was that video?
That was a great game. I love that game, man.
80s, run I mean, because that was just a series of videos, right? And you were just sort of picking and choosing which way to go, right? I mean, it also, but it was just, choose where you're going.
That was Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair. And it was a car.
Yeah.
The reason I remember it was because it was like a cartoon.
Yeah, they're making a movie of it, actually.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's his head? Oh my God. What's that guy's name?
I don't know.
Deadpool. The guy that plays Deadpool
Ryan Reynolds
is supposedly gonna play the knight in the movie.
Oh, that's wonderful. He's perfect. That night was it was like campy, a little hammy comedy.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, that's sweet. But anyway, so yeah. Interactive video. That's where. See, look at that tangent that we just went on. It's awesome.
I mean, if you think about it, things like YouTube, right? People are like, "Hey, subscribe," right? And people go and they do it. They interact with it the way, and people are like, go to the button below, and they'll show them the button. So we do it. I always point at, "Hey, subscribe below,"
Right.
So you're actually just really pointing at the things within the site itself. And yeah. I can see why the click-through or the ROI would be greater on it.
Yeah, it's embedded direct. The fact that it's able to be embedded directly in the video,
Mhm.
and that the viewer feels like they're participating in the storytelling process, and that when they click on something, that there's a message that's like crafted just for them, right? If you feel like there's psychology behind it. The technology isn't anything that's like this mind-blowing new thing. It's an HTML5 video player, which, by the way, there's the one caveat about interactive video. None of the social media platforms at all allow for HTML5 video players. None of them. So you can't. It's not like you could put this video on Facebook or on LinkedIn or any of them and have like a form in the video or buttons in the video. They just don't do it. And I honestly believe that most platforms are going to create their own HTML5 video players that you can customize. I feel like it's very close, and that's just going to be part of their paid ad campaign
Right.
that you're going to be doing. And if these social media platforms figure out a way to create a funnel that you can pay for that doesn't require you leaving their platform, then they will have achieved a true marketing monopoly, in my opinion, because that will potentially put companies whose entire revenue stream is based on building landing pages and getting people off of social media platforms in danger. If that makes sense. So
I know LinkedIn in particular does that like embedded lead gen form now. We were actually playing with that a little bit, but to see that in a video would be super cool. That would be really cool.
Told that like, hey, you can this and it's custom.
Yeah. So aside from interactive, I mean, you talk about disruption. So maybe we could talk a little bit about disruptive video and kind of what, how you define that, and maybe what people could be doing to, create disruptive videos.
Sure. So disruptive video is anything that basically, I use the analogy of like when you're scrolling, the platform grabs you by the lapels and goes, hey, like, here I am, and makes you stop scrolling. That's, to me, a disruptive video. Anything that makes me stop scrolling through social media is disruptive. It's disrupted my flow. So at that point, what I try to do with disruptive videos, what we try to do is we try to catch people off guard in a way where the video looks like it's camouflaged as a normal social media post. And then something unexpected happens. And now these things have been around forever. They've been around forever. And I personally think that they've just been really underused. I don't think they're used a lot because I think a lot of people just see them as a gimmick. So like, I don't know if you remember, I feel like it was almost 10 years ago, the first time I saw a disruptive video where like bugs crawled across the screen. It looked like bugs were crawling on my phone, and nobody had really seen that because all it was a video that it was disguised as a normal Facebook post, but they took a screenshot or created that graphic to look like a normal post. They put it in the video, and then they just had bugs with a transparent background crawl across that graphic. But that was it. People were like, ooh, cool. And then they kept scrolling. And so to take it one step further, you create something that's disruptive. and then immediately hit them with your message, like right away. Like you have their attention. Now you have like 3 seconds to keep their attention, and they're going to decide whether or not they want to hear your message. So are you going to lose a lot of people initially if these are not targeted specific ads? Yes, you are. But at least you got their attention. And the people that you want to keep are in that pool of group of people. So I've had it look like a baseball's crashing through your screen, or your glass breaks, or a piggy bank smashes and it looks like coins are falling on your screen. It looks like it's raining on the screen. Anything that looks like something's happening to your computer screen or to your phone, that's very disruptive. So that's the first thing. The other thing that can be disruptive are the classics: babies, puppies, human psychology is easy. What's that?
Cats. Brian says everybody watches cat videos, right?
Pets, there you go. Cute pets, like what? Anything that people are like, ah, there you go. They're going to stop and you have their attention at least. That might seem like a cheap shot, but whatever. But a way that you could, so like on LinkedIn, those types of disruptive videos, I don't tell anybody, like when I create a disruptive video for somebody and they're going to use it on LinkedIn, I tell them, I said, just put it on LinkedIn. Right now, LinkedIn is organic. Like you get this organic reach that is insane. It's free. There's no other platform out there like LinkedIn right now. I love it. But if you want to go over to Facebook, obviously a different background has to be created, but that's easy. It should be a paid targeted campaign. And so you're saying, let's say you want to sell, I don't know, baseball mitts, and your demographic is baseball, people who say they coach baseball. You could do that on Facebook. And those are the only people that see your message. And if it looks like a baseball crashes through the screen, well, bam, they already like baseball. Now you have their attention. Hey, your mitt sucks. This one doesn't. Buy it. Click here. You know what I mean? Or something quick like that. Or find out why this mitt rule. You know what I mean? You get it. You get the concept. Yeah. So there you go.
So are there any things that you're seeing, in terms of social videos? Are there a lot of things that people are doing wrong?
One classic on LinkedIn is they introduce themselves. Don't. Your name's right there. It's like, it even says what you do. Like, I don't, and the only reason I give that advice is not to be a condescending jerk. It's to be like, hey, you don't have much time to keep people's attention. And if you want people to listen to you, you have to cut right to the chase right away. So if you're trying to hold somebody's attention, that's a classic right there. It's just, don't always introduce yourself in the video. We know who you are. Cut right to the chase, give the value, not having takeaways. So, and this is only for people who are creating video content on the platform. Sometimes, and when I say takeaway, it doesn't always mean that it has to be like this actionable step. It can be a thought. It can be a feeling. It can be an inspirational moment. It could be a laugh. Maybe you just made somebody laugh. But there has to be a takeaway. There has to be something that somebody goes away from that video feeling like they got something out of the time that they invested in that video. Humor is a big one, but that's why a lot of times you'll see that, I'll try to do like a tip, or just, I try to create value. You always try to create value, which is another word for the takeaway. So that would be another one.
Is that why you see like a lot of people, I mean, I know we're talking about LinkedIn, but is that why you see like a lot of, like YouTube, like a lot of successful videos, you'll see like I'll let you in on my secret. Do you know what I mean? Or here's where, like, it's almost like they're going, hey, I'm going to give you this tip, but it's going to be at the end. So you got to watch the whole thing to get the tip, right? And you see that a lot with various types of video, but that's pretty common in that sort of YouTube world.
Yeah, that's something you'll see a lot. And I think, YouTube is a platform that is more for long form, right? Longer form content. And if you want to be a successful YouTuber, you have to get your view count up, and you have to have people that dwell, to use that new LinkedIn phrase, but on YouTube, that dwell or stay on your content and watch it, right? And so you got to give that tip at the end, I think. And you need to stand, there's a lot of noise on YouTube. And to stand out from the crowd, it's annoying a little bit. Like, I only came here because I want the tip and I got to listen to all this other crap up front. Right. But if you fill that other crap with good stuff up front, then people are going to keep coming back, right? So you build trust, and that's why there's always got to be value, always got to be a takeaway, because you're building trust with your audience by providing them with value. Time is the most valuable commodity we all have. It's impossible to get it back unless you're like Marty McFly and Doc, and I don't think anybody has a time machine. So make sure you're treating people's time with respect and valuing their time, because if you don't, they won't come back. The attention span on social media is so short, and you don't get many second chances. PewDiePie did, right? That guy, is he still like doing stuff?
I think he actually like took a break, and then I think he's back now. But yeah, well, I mean, the guy had what, like 10 bazillion followers? I don't even know what number it was at the
end. It was insane, and he had like major, like multi-million-dollar contracts with brands and stuff, I think.
Yeah, like the biggest YouTuber. I mean, I don't know if he still is, but he was at some point.
Yeah, it's intense.
So yeah. I want to talk a little bit about people who say that they can't create video. And, you know, we hear this all the time, especially, you know, when we're talking to people who aren't familiar with just using, you know, who aren't comfortable maybe in front of the camera, or, you know, they don't feel like they have the right equipment, or, you know, I mean, so what advice do you give those people who want to get involved with video but think they really can't?
So to what degree of wanting to get involved in video? I think that's the first question, right? Like if you just want to start making videos to be on social media, all right, let me give you a short answer. If you have a phone, you have all you need, period. They're like zero excuses, no excuse. Take all the excuses, flush them down the toilet, and reach in your pocket and grab your phone, because your phone can film in 4K. And 10 years ago, that would have been completely unheard of, to walk around with a camera in your pocket that can shoot in 4K. Not only can you shoot in 4K, but there's apps that you can edit your 4K video directly on your phone. You can do that. And there's free editing software out there on computers now that, like Pulp Fiction was filmed on a software called, and I always mess this up, it's not Lightroom, but it's Light something. But it's a free software that you can go download right now. So if it's good enough for feature film to be edited on, it's good enough for you to learn how to edit on, number one. So you have everything you need if you have a phone. So that's the first part. Forget about the expensive gear. You have everything you need. Second part would be, nothing will ever trump story. Nothing will ever. So if you have a good narrative, or you have a good story, you have a good idea, or you have a good message that you're trying to deliver to people, people will look past crappy video quality and go straight to what your content is. And so if you want to create content, start doing it like now. Just start doing it. That was the only way I got to become a director. Was when I started in film and video, I was an art director on set, or a assistant art director in the art department, like a assistant props guy, and I was a production assistant. And the only reason I've ever gotten to do any projects is because I looked at that system and I said, this is a vertical system with no room for movement, and I stepped out and created my own stuff. And I just did it. If I never would have done that, I'd still be waiting for a phone call from a production coordinator, hoping that I get my day rate so that I can saw wood on a set to help build someone else's idea. You need to go out and you need to just take action and do it. You have all the gear that you need at your fingertips, 100%. YouTube, well, there's a ton of videos on YouTube that are teaching you how to edit. I'm in the process right now of building a course for people for the absolute basics of mobile video production. Like, how do I get a headline? How do I get captions? How do I chop out the ums and ahs from my thing? And then how do I post it? Just the basics, because I get questions like that all the time. So that would be my advice. You don't need a ton of gear. You start learning the phone, you start learning the craft of storytelling. And then once you get a little bit deeper into it, you'll start to be like, oh, I can get this little add-on, which is this app over here, or I can find this software over here, and it's gonna elevate. Oh, now I can do a crossfade. Now, you know what I mean? And eventually you will evolve. But the first step is just doing it, and you have everything that you need. And if you start telling stories the right way, I mean, Steven Soderbergh made 2 feature films on an iPhone. If you start making stories the right way and films the right way, and you'll start making money. And then you can buy expensive shit if you want. Sorry.
Okay. So how important is it, right? So with so many different channels out there, right? We talked about YouTube and LinkedIn and even Facebook, right? How important is it, or how different, or should it be? Is there a difference in storytelling between the channels, right? So if you're going to use those platforms, because we know LinkedIn, you know, people interact with that content a very different way than you may on Facebook and so on. So how important is it, that is the story the same? Is it a modified version? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Telling stories for different channels.
I'll be upfront right now. I'm not on very many different channels, me personally. Like, I work with clients that are on multiple channels. So I do have knowledge in the space, but me personally, like if you were to go look at my company's YouTube page, it's horrible. I think I have like 8 videos on it. That's simply a matter of time. But if I'm going to put a video on YouTube versus a video on Facebook, it really depends on what the goal is for the video. I do believe that, like, are you familiar with Casey Neistat?
No.
Casey Neistat? Okay, so his last name is Neistat. And if you're a fan of like very well-made vlogs, he did like 380 consecutive daily vlogs, and they're very high quality and they're wonderful. And if you want to look at what I think is an amazing example of YouTube content done perfectly, watch Casey Neistat videos. They're entertaining. They're usually about 10 to 12 minutes long. They're day in the life type things. Sometimes they have a theme, sometimes they don't. Casey's extremely engaging. He uses drone footage. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he was able to get these videos done 300 and something days consecutively is mind-boggling to me. So YouTube is long form. Facebook, I would say that you can do long form on Facebook if Facebook allows you to do these premieres, right? They're really trying hard to have their users treat video premieres as like events, right? They're trying to have watch parties and all these different things where people are coming together to watch a video together and comment on the video together. So if you treat something like a premiere, right, a long form, then long form content on Facebook is great. If you're just trying to create a video that people are going to watch just to watch it as they're scrolling, it needs to be shorter. So on YouTube, that's a destination channel. If I go to YouTube, I will go to Casey Neistat's channel and be like, has he posted anything new? He hasn't in a while. I'll go to Peter McKinnon's channel to be like, hey, what new gear is this guy going to be reviewing today? And I'll know that I'm going to be sitting down for 10 minutes minimum, right? If I'm on YouTube, I'm killing, or if I'm on Facebook, I'm killing time, usually. I'm just like scrolling, and usually that time is not productive, FYI. but it'll be like short form. If I see a link to a premiere, maybe I'll be like, oh, Tuesday at 10 o'clock, there's this premiere, this documentary on here, I'm going to watch this.
Do you think Facebook's trying to get, because I mean, recently with the monetization of video, right? If you have a page, you could upload video, and they want it to be, I think, 3 minutes to be able to monetize it. I mean, not that I would necessarily say that's long form video, but do you think that's why they're doing that, to get more long form video on it, to keep, you know, the time up on the site? Or
I think that
YouTube.
Yeah, I think Facebook will go after every single social media platform that's out there. I think they're ruthless. I think that they will do whatever they can to try to like shoulder their way into any space they can. And so, yeah, I think that I didn't even know about that. So they're monetizing video, and they're saying if you want to monetize this, so monetizing meaning like ads before it.
Yeah, you basically, what it does is you could upload your video. So if you have a page, right, you have a Facebook page for your company or whatever, right? You could upload videos, and if your videos, you meet, like, there's a whole bunch of criteria. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. I just know some of our pages actually meet them. We just don't upload that many videos to Facebook, even though we create tons of videos. We upload a lot, but we don't upload a ton of them. But basically, you can monetize it after, don't quote me on the amount of followers, but so many followers to the page. I think it's 1,000 or 10,000, and like 30,000 maybe minutes of video views or something like that. It's relatively low in comparison to YouTube monetization, let's say.
Right. Well, but then it does play an ad. It's like YouTube will then feed a video ad before you
Yeah,
realize.
I'm not really. I'm pretty sure they're feeding ads in there. I'm not sure how it works, or I'm not really. I don't know
Watch
enough.
some of the videos where they do have ads, so you're watching for about a minute, and then the little timer comes up, the ad comes up, and then it resumes. Video will resume.
I mean, I guess it makes sense that if, like I said, if Facebook can do it, they're going to do it, right? If they can find a way to if they can look at, I mean, Facebook, remember MySpace?
Yeah.
Facebook did it better. And before MySpace, there was Friendster, right? So
yeah. There were GeoCities. I mean, there's
right.
you go way back.
I don't mean to, I don't mean to sound hostile towards Facebook. I just kind of feel like they're a little bit ruthless, but I mean, that's the way technology works, right? Yeah, just a little bit. If they can do it better than YouTube, and it creates a better user experience, I'm all for it. Cool. You know what I mean? So, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's probably what they're trying to do. They're trying to move into that long form video space. And I think that all of the social media platforms, their main goal is to keep you on their platform.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a new ad space, right? That's a new space where,
right.
Well, you have people creating ads for that.
Yeah, because if we go back to oh man, sorry, my brain's a little shot today. If we go back to
here with your brain farts today.
I know, I don't know what's going on in my head, but we're just talking about before Facebook. MySpace. If you go back to MySpace, think about it. Like originally MySpace, and you could do this on Facebook, right? Basically that's how YouTube really got started, by people embedding YouTube videos in MySpace. And then YouTube sort of, that's really where all their users were coming from at the very beginning, where they were grabbing users from, because they allow that embedding of those YouTube videos in MySpace. And it's interesting, while you still embed videos, obviously, in Facebook, but they're offering the power now to monetize it. So I guess, they're probably guessing users are going to go, oh, what do I do? Do I link it off to my YouTube and try to grow my YouTube? Or do I monetize both channels, right? So that's I would assume that's where it's going.
Monetize both. I mean,
yeah, monetize both of them. Exactly.
And Facebook also doesn't give, at least. So I haven't really been. There was a time where I was really into Facebook. Like I was like paying attention to all the trends, and I kind of dipped out of Facebook a little bit just because I became. I can't even think of the word, but I just got sick of Facebook and a lot of the noise on it. And so I dipped out. So I don't know all the details. But there was for sure a time, I know, when Facebook stopped pushing embedded videos and really tried to push their users to upload native video, right? To upload a video directly to their video platform. And that's when you would get more engagement, more views. For the longest time, it was all YouTube videos. And then they basically just like shut down the engagement on that and said, no, upload to our platform. You need to do that. And I have a buddy that's got a show called Leatherneck Reconnect. And this will be like a 30-second synopsis. Basically, he goes on the road and he connects Marines who haven't seen each other in a very long time. And he originally did it with his own friends, but now it's a way he found after that first episode, there's guys out there that really need help. And so now that's what he does. And it's it's a show that lives just on YouTube. And he was trying to promote it on Facebook. And he's the one that first really started talking to me about that. He's like, dude, I used to get all these views on Facebook, and the algorithm, it changed. And now I got to upload it 2 places, and such a pain in the ass, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's going to be monetized in both places for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see that almost on all social networks, right? They always seem to give, and I don't know how true it is, but they always seem to give. I know with my videos, if I upload the video and embed my video in that social network, no matter which one it is, it always seems to do better than if I just go, hey, here's same copy pointing at YouTube. Do you know what I mean? They seem to give it more clout for, which makes sense. They're going to have users spend more time on their site, even though it's embedded, but it seems like that's almost every channel out there these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's some videos now. I mean, I know Facebook won't, like, you'll embed a video, it won't play on their platform.
Oh, wow.
Like some of my Vimeo videos, like that's where all of our content really lives that we're showing clients, potential clients, is on Vimeo. And Yeah, you can't embed a Vimeo player. It'll redirect to Vimeo off the page. And so, and I think a lot of YouTube videos do that now. I think, I don't know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Oh.
I'll have to check it.
Speaking of social media marketing, I'm not that, like, that's, so I have partners that are good at that.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what Nicolette says. I usually divert the conversation to whatever is in my brain.
But yeah, the landscape is changing. That's for sure. The video landscape.
I have a question. So you were talking about using your phone. I'm going to just rewind a little bit. You were talking about using your phone. You have everything you need. So my question was, what's your favorite video editing tool for the beginner? You know, what kind of apps, or, you know, what can they be using that they, that would be easy for them?
That's tough because there's a lot out there. There's a lot out there, and there's a couple that, so in the editing course, I'm still deciding which one to use on this video course that I'm teaching. I'm trying to figure out what the easiest one is. But if I had to give a, like, something that most people have access to, I would say iMovie or Windows Movie Maker.
Mm-hmm. Start out with Movie Maker. I feel like it doesn't work the same way anymore.
They change.
It's not working. I haven't used it in a long time, but when I tried to, I was like, wow, iMovie's so much easier.
It is. iMovie is very intuitive. It's very easy to use. It's very user friendly. It's limited in what you can do. Excuse me, but for the majority of the people out there, it's going to get the job done. But if you don't have a Mac, Windows Movie Maker is one of them. And then, you know, if you want to get complicated with things, if you're not on a Mac, the Adobe Premiere Suite, just because of the value that you get with, like, I think it's $60 a month. But you get Photoshop, you get this whole suite of things. You know, you're paying $60 a month or whatever, consistently, forever. There's no end in sight, right?
Right. Yeah, find software.
But me personally, I use Final Cut Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Final Cut Pro user since like the early days. Then they switched over to Final Cut Pro X. I boycotted that for 2 years and then finally learned it. And it's increased my workflow by 25%. And I think that would be my number one recommendation. If you are able to get a Mac and you're able to learn Final Cut Pro X, if you're able to do that, you can do anything you would ever need to do on an editor on that program. You can do the same on Adobe Premiere. I just think Final Cut Pro X is more not even user friendly. I don't know how to explain it. It's just my preference. But if you're a very beginner, you just want to learn the very basics of dragging and dropping and all that, iMovie is a very good place to start. If I were to Google, if you go online and just Google this, best free video editors, best free video editor. Yeah, best free video editor. Yes, if you Google that, you're going to find a link that has, like, I believe it's like the 9 best free video editing software tools available on the web right now. Mm-hmm. That list is gold. Like, I wish I could tell you the specific, but that list is gold because it gives you apps that are usable on both Mac and PC, Windows and Mac. And it also gives you apps that you can use on your phone. And there's a couple in there that are very, very intuitive, but very easy, very, very easy to use. So that would be the other tip. If you're beginning, just Google those free softwares, scroll through it. There's screenshots of every single one, and you can see the one that resonates with you the most, and read the description up top. And there's resources out there. There's a lot of them out there, a lot more than there were.
And they can take your course. So
yes. Now, if I ever get the damn thing done, right? It's just, I've been talking about this course for like 2 months. I'm like, oh, everybody has time on their hands now. I'm going to teach you. And here we are. It's not done yet.
Yep.
Here's the thing. You have the video equipment to record it.
Like, come on. I got to get my stuff together.
Yeah.
In your defense, you have children. So I give everybody credit these days. There are children home.
Homeschooling.
Yeah. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us today and having a wonderful everywhere discussion. Thank you, Brian. So
Enjoyed it.
everybody where they can learn more about you and where they can find you.
So I'm just going to do the LinkedIn thing. Just go to linkedin.com. I'm Jason Schultz, Detroit. So SCHULTZ and then like the city, Detroit. You can also visit collectiveagecreative.com, collectiveagecreative.com to see video examples of our work. You can go to jasonschultzvideo.com to see my boring resume website with not boring examples of video work that we've done. So those are the 3 places. And if you want to talk about video and schedule a phone call, calendly.com/Schultzy. So it's my last name with a Y at the end. Those are all the things.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Absolutely. Thank you.